Overcrowding, poor conditions and dilapidated infrastructure is often a problem in most prisons globally, and Africa is no exception. A photo exhibition showcasing poor conditions in Africa prisons opened in Johannesburg. The Southern Africa Litigation Centre and several other organisations, including Doctors Without Borders and Amnesty International, are part of the showcase. Joining me now to talk more about this is Chikondi, Chijozi from Malawi Human Rights Commission, as well as Phumlani, Dlamini from the eSwatini Human Rights Commission. Very good evening to you both. Chikondi, allow me to start with you. Talk to us about this exhibition and its purpose.
Yes, the exhibition was done today just to showcase some of the challenges that are in our prisons. So we're looking at various prisons in Africa, including Malawi, Zimbabwe, Zambia, and Botswana, even eSwatini, just to see how our prisoners in our prisons stay in the prison, the challenges that are facing, issues of congestion, things that have been there for years, and some of the things have even appeared in court judgments that for years have still been there. So it was just a way of trying to see how the oversight bodies that we have, the judicial oversight bodies, the human rights commissions that we have, which are NHRIs, how they are exercising their mandate to address the challenges that they are there, but also to bring to light these issues, because sometimes when you talk about challenges in prison, we do not relate to them. So the photo exhibition was to showcase these issues. And a good thing, we also had people who were in prison who were able to speak to these pictures and images that we were able to show today.
Now, Phumlani, I suppose many years ago, the rights of prisoners weren't absolutely critical. But all of that has changed over time, has it not? Talk to us about that involvement of limited rights to full rights of prisoners today.
One has to say that there has been a really transition from prisons to correctional facilities, and that is what we really appreciate, and that is what we're trying to ensure that all the African countries should try and embrace the fact that we do not have people who are in conflict with the law who are supposed to be condemned and be thrown into prison like the colonial years. But now that we have correctional facilities, they have to try to bring humanity and dignity to people who are in their facilities. And at the moment, we think that what we noted is that there's quite a lot of a number of African countries which have embraced that, and a number of countries really appreciate the fact that there has to be inspectorates, even try to get into the facilities to ensure that behind those walls there are human beings who are still who still have to live in dignity and who have entitlement to human rights.
So I had a look at some flyers or brochures, Chikondi, on this exhibition, and a few things shocked me. One was the crowding, the overcrowding, if you will. I mean, that it's almost horrific.
Yes.
Right? But the other thing that I also picked up is that not everybody that's in prison deserves to be in prison.
Absolutely.
Or the issues around the imprisonment do not warrant them actually being thrown into prison.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, you're just speaking to one of the things that we're discussing this afternoon. We had one prisoner who was in prison in Malawi for 6 years on remand. And after 6 years, he got acquitted in court. And he was just showing us how he was sleeping in prison, like having only 30 centimeters of space to sleep for 6 years. And this guy gets acquitted. So I agree with you. I mean, there are so many cases. I've worked in prison for over 19 years now, working with prisoners, and I've seen the injustice that is there. Like, because our correctional services, you find that 90% of people that are in prison are those people that are poor. You find that the rich would not go to prison if they find themselves on the wrong side of the law. They'll get lawyers. They'll not stay in prison for a long time. But these conditions that we're talking about, the people that are affected, the people that suffer in the way that we see in the pictures are the poor. And in many cases, 50% of the time, there are people who are innocent. Because I tell you, there are not... we don't have so many hardcore criminals in many of our prisons, but you find that a huge percent of the people that are there are people who have no access to lawyers. Maybe there was an injustice because at the time of trial they did not get legal representation. They find themselves imprisoned and they stay in such harsh conditions.
Finally, Phumlani, I know you wanted to say something, but we're running short of time. Just tell us, where is this exhibition happening and how long is it on for?
The exhibition is happening at Sandton at the moment, and
so we're in Sandton?
It's at the
Seven Villa Hotel. Yeah.
And it's going to be there until
tomorrow. Yeah.
And
we literally have another 24 hours to go and see.
And it's very important. I mean, just to support what Chikondi has said, it is very disheartening when you find that our prisons, correctional facilities, are actually flooded by people who are not supposed to be there. Absolutely. And who are pushed there by human rights violations. And it is only because states withhold the enjoyment of rights, and then people are not getting their socio-economic rights, that they get into prison. But it's the state that again arrests them on the basis of not having their rights. So that is the challenge that we have.
Well, I do appreciate both of you coming onto the show, and I'm definitely going to make time to go and look tomorrow. Now, that was Chikondi Chijozi of the Malawi Human Rights Commission and Phumlani Dlamini from eSwatini Human Rights Commission.